Thank you for the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Psych! You wish this video was sponsored. You wish. But it's not. But since everybody and their brother seems to be sponsored by Skillshare these days, there are a lot of freebies going around. You know, those first 1,000 people to click the link in the description gets 2 months free of Skillshare Premium. 2 months free? Baby, say less. So, you know, of course I had to take the opportunity to get me some free knowledge because, I mean, who doesn't want free stuff, right? Seeing that I'm not taking architecture classes at the moment, my constant stream of architecture knowledge has been depleted drastically. However, one thing that I took away from my first year of architecture school is that you don't have to go to architecture school to become an architect. I heard that from architects who came to talk at school and also from professors. You don't have to go to architecture school to be an architect. And it makes so much sense because there's honestly so much knowledge that you can get on your own that you may not even learn in architecture school that isn't stopping you from progressing. So despite the fact that I don't have class, I have a lot of free time. And because of the opportunity of free time, there's a lot that I can learn. One thing that I've been wanting to learn for a while now is drawing. In architecture school, so far I've learned a lot about digital drawing. I've learned how to use AutoCAD, I've learned how to use Illustrator, Photoshop, Rhino. But one thing I have not learned is how to use my main assets as an architecture student, my hands. I don't know how to do hand drawing. So I took the time, went on Skillshare, and I found a class specializing in how to sketch like an architect. I think my sketching is very mediocre. Hopefully this class will give me the opportunity to learn more of how to sketch like an architect. The class is very short as well. It has 9 lessons. It even comes with a booklet, a guide, everything that I really need to succeed in this online class, and I'm like so excited. Oh my gosh. So the class I'm taking is called Sketch Like an Architect. Step by step from lines to perspective, and we have several lessons here about lines and 2D objects, shadows, textures, adding vegetation, etc, etc. Basically everything I need to, I guess, properly sketch like an architect. So I'm going to go ahead and watch these lessons and maybe take a couple of notes, and then we're assigned a project in this class. Oh my gosh, they give us homework already. Okay, Skillshare, let me do something. Skillshare, if you see this, you already know what to do. Alright, so the class has been going pretty well so far. Men's spitting real good information. I'm starting to realize a lot of stuff about my sketching. One, I'm very heavy-handed, so like I'm not really getting light, bright strokes, and I'm not really flowing too well because my hand is just so heavy on the paper. I have a lot of work to do with perspective. Generally I have the idea of perspective, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of start to get confused. So that's a lot of practice that I have to do. Line weights and rendering techniques I also need to work on. So I think I'm going to be doing this for a while. To end this class for today, I'm just going to look at life and do some observational drawing. Really put some of the techniques I worked today in practice. So my neighbor behind me has a very beautiful house. It's like on stilts and it's an octagon shape, and the view I have from right here is pretty nice with the whole vegetation. Composition wise, it's very nice. So I'm just gonna try sketching this, and I think if maybe I sketch the same thing every day using the techniques, that maybe I'll get better, and we're gonna see how that goes. Damn. See, I knew my sketching was bad, but I did not know it was this bad. And so for embarrassing purposes, I will not be showing you the sketch, but we're gonna keep working on this whole sketching, and maybe in the future I can show you some of my architecture sketches, but not today. So thank you for joining me. Next. So aside from architecture sketching, one thing that I have not learned is technical drawing. I mean, we learn how to do them digitally, as I explained, but we don't know how to use our magic money maker since we don't know how to use our hands. Looking on YouTube and a bunch of architecture videos, I'm looking to learn axonometric drawing. I don't think I fully understood what an axonometric drawing is. So I did a little research, you know, took a few notes. An axonometric drawing is like a view, a certain view at a certain angle of a building. Looking for this plan, we're also gonna take a look at that and see if I can conjure up a beautiful architecture axonometric drawing by hand. Keeping it simple because it is a beginner you're talking to here, I'm going to do a axonometric drawing of my model of a hut that we had to create last semester. It's a very simple design, so there shouldn't be a reason for me to mess it up once I grasp the concept of a axonometric drawing. So to begin drawing this, I have to first start by looking at the plan, and from the plan of the model that I have, then from there I could start going and drawing lines to get my axonometric drawing of my model. I have my setup here. I just have a blank sheet of paper from the sketch pad. And also to assist me, since I don't have any of my architectural supplies, I have a geometry set. I don't know if they use these in America, but I grew up on this junk. Oh my gosh, the Oxford Mathematical Geometry set. This was like luxury school supply. Here it comes with all the materials I need. It comes with a 30-60 triangle, a protractor, a 45 degree triangle, a ruler, and then it also comes with a compass if I need it. I will only be using the protractor, ruler, and the triangles to be doing this. And I will tell you that until today, I didn't really understand what the use of any of those rulers and triangles were for. So what are we really doing in architecture school if I don't even know what a 30-60 triangle is? Come on, do better. I just finished the plan. It's definitely not perfect, but I'm allowing myself the leeway for the dimension. That's primarily why it's off, because the dimensions aren't correct. But I'm allowing myself that as long as I'm grasping the concept of how to draw an axonometric drawing. The next thing for me to do is, now that I have the plan, I'd have to start drawing the walls and everything to make it an actual axonometric model. This model here into an axonometric drawing on Rhino, and I'm gonna compare it to Rhino versus the stuff that I did, the high quality thing that I did. So let's make this gosh, do you see this? I'm so proud of this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Very simple design, so I mean, if I could have challenged myself, I guess, and done something a little bit extra, but I'm very proud of this. Oh. Wow, high five, Janae. All right. While I eat, I'm going to be watching a architecture documentary. It's a film. Well, it's a documentary. It's a film called Maruyama-san. It's about this guy who's just living an ordinary life in this contemporary Japanese house that's actually very famous in Japan because it's very unique. I'm a big fan of contemporary Japanese architecture, so that's probably the reason why I'm watching it. Like I said, you don't have to go to architecture school to be an architect because there's such a profound amount of knowledge that you can learn outside of the classroom by watching documentaries. There's so much out there that you just won't get only in your architecture classes. So one thing that I recommend doing, if you have the free time, watch some architecture documentaries. If you really like architecture, they're very interesting, and you should enjoy it. I just finished watching Maruyama-san. It was really good. The film, it did not speak a lot and it didn't say a lot, and I really like that because I felt like I understand it so much more because it didn't say anything. The architecture was really just like an experience with the daily life of Maruyama, who lives in this house, and there's not much that needs to be said. You should check it out if you like architecture documentaries. I mean, if you have any other recommendations for films or architecture documentaries or anything, please comment in the description because I love to watch them. Hello and welcome to Janae's Reading Corner. So one of the ways that I'm able to get more knowledge about architecture and, you know, delve deeper into my interest in architecture is by reading. I am not a big reader at all, but I guess when you're reading about something you actually like, you take a lot of interest in it because you're learning about something that you want to learn about. So one way that I can, you know, learn about architecture outside of architecture class is reading about it or reading about stuff pertaining to it. As I said, I really like Japanese architecture and contemporary Japanese architecture, to be specific. Understanding contemporary Japanese architecture, you have to understand the roots of Japanese culture and aesthetics. So the book I'm reading is called In Praise of Shadows by Junichiro Tanizaki. Tanizaki, he's talking about how Japanese evolved and changed to kind of please Western culture, and well, it's primarily focused on DX Japanese aesthetics. It's really well written, and I'm also reading a book called Wabi Sabi, the Japanese art of imperformance. So I'm gonna go ahead and read In Praise of Shadows, and I recommend it. Throughout this book, Tanizaki is comparing Western standards to Japanese aesthetics, how the development of Japan has brought around these ways in buildings and stuff that's more Western than Japanese, and how it takes away from the traditional Japanese aesthetic. He's saying he wished that Japan had developed their own way rather than following He says, suppose, for instance, that we had developed our own physics and chemistry, would not the techniques and industry based on them have taken a different form? Their culture follow-throughs and many things that they do, had they had their own sciences, developed their own sciences, I feel like it would take a president, the culture would take a resident in that as well. And I feel like that would be really, I don't know, groundbreaking, amazing. I can only imagine what that would have been like. Anyways, that's it for now. I'm just gonna continue reading this, and that's probably gonna how I'm gonna end my day today. Maybe have a nice hot cup of hot chocolate or something. I feel like I gained a lot of knowledge today. Hopefully I gain a lot of knowledge tomorrow as well, and going forward, just continue grasping it and architecting outside of architecture school, because you don't need architecture school to be an architect. Kinda, more or less. But that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.